Play. It is that time of the week when everything's coming to the crux of the week. I hope you can hear me okay. I want to welcome you to the Friday Focus with Jake Cunningham. You didn't get a notice and information about a speaker this week because this week was a production week for me in finishing a lot of projects here for the spring 2015. We're wrapping up the White Dove Healing Arts website. Also, my site is getting a revamp, and I'm booking out the speakers for the rest of the spring and summer and fall. And so just hang in there. I appreciate you for listening and tuning in. And I found and located an archive of some amazing DVDs that I have from past Congress of Quantum Masters, and also some before the Congress of Quantum Masters was even around. Professor Nelson teaching and training back in, over 10 years ago. And these I'm going to publish and get out to everybody. I didn't have, they're massive. I mean, they're a DVD size, a couple gigabytes that I'm uploading now to the server to be able to then broadcast. But so today's going to be really an open Q&A, and I'm going to fill you in on what's going on in terms of, I want to really ask you to ask any questions that you have, and I'll be going over some of the latest news with what's going on in the industry, as well as what's coming down the pipeline in the future. So let me see here. In the chat, and we have Liz, Leon, welcome. I want to encourage you to ask any questions, but also if you have any questions specific to the products you use, whether it's the quantum biofeedback or anything like that, if you post that in the chat, I will be able to then archive it and get that answer back to you. That's one of the reasons the focus is here, is so that you have a weekly way to connect live with people. And I'm looking forward to getting some of the quantum masters on to do specific training. That's going to be part of this, but this is more of an interview-based call, and all those extra goodies are still going to be available, especially through the archives. I've got over 150 recordings that is going to be available to everybody here, and it's just a matter of also editing some of them. The reason being is not only is some of the quality poor from the past, it is the information is a little bit outdated. And so with all of the past archived information you're going to be getting, and the recordings in the library, there's going to be a disclaimer for the date because of the compliance language used, as well as some of them I'm actually working on getting CEU credit for you too, with the specific training. Also on that note, my father's site, White Dove Healing Arts, and all the Q&As that they've done, those are going to be going live this weekend, that you can go online to whitedovehealing.com and you'll be able to, it's going to go through like a purchase so that but it's your own little course, mini course for those, and those are CEU driven. So if you need to gather those CEUs for your certification, you'll be able to do so. And so with that said, the chat is open. Please feel free to ask any questions. And for those of you watching the replay, I want to encourage you to also ask questions, because there's a question box there as well. Regarding technology news, I have some amazing opportunities for people coming down the pipeline, not only with the products I'm going to be having in terms of certified EO systems, Indigo, and eDoctor quantum biofeedback. I am going to have some great deals too on the inventory I do have for those pre-owned units. And then, of course, with the dollar, the American dollar being at such a strong position, and it may or may not be for long, as you know, the global economy is always shifting. If you're in the market to upgrade or purchase an Eductor, it's a great time to do so. And that's, if you're not, that's fine too. Where we are in the industry is we're in a good place. We're in a I call it, we've completed the 20-year beta test. If this system finding its role, not beta test it if it works. We all know this works. It's more along the lines of the industry now knows what we have, where we stand legally and in the marketplace in relationship to either a home user or a professional offering of biofeedback, how that plays a role with conventional and traditional medicine and work and licensed practitioners. And then we also understand that biofeedback is still a deregulated modality, and the legal status of the system being a Class II registered medical device is a good thing for credibility, meaning it's safe. It's under that 510(k) classification of being able to market under biofeedback, neurofeedback that treats stress, helps with pain management, muscle re-education, these types of elements. And we know what not to do. Sometimes in a growth learning, sometimes the lessons learned of mistakes, what not to do, are as valuable as being taught the proper way, because you can't sometimes get there. Not only is the legal, I call it, atmosphere clear now where we stand, but also let's just call it the technology is, and this is more of like politics, but the politics of the industry has gone through its course. And any questions you have about that, this is what this call's for. You can get real honest on this call, and I encourage you to do so. You got questions about Budapest, Professor Nelson, the past brokerages that have come and gone and left people hanging, where those positions are, what they're doing. You're going to get my opinion. I don't know all the answers either, because I'm focusing on what I have control over, but I do know that we're in a good place, and the technology is being nurtured, supported, and invested in again by the source code, I call it. What I mean by that is the Skio, the Indigo, QXCI, which is a little of an outdated technology, and I'm going to show you the difference for those of you who have never seen those units. And the Eductor, they're all supported, I think, for the first time ever, unconditionally, and that's huge. What that means is there's no more exclusion and if you felt this as an Indigo owner or a Skio owner, that you're outdated and you are forced to update, I just want to give you the courage, confidence, and support that you have everything you need to succeed in the service of this, whether it's for yourself, your friends, your family, or a professional practice. That is something I think many times I've listened on calls one-on-one with practitioners, and they just needed to hear that. They needed to hear that all of these technologies are amazing, and they all serve the purpose in this art of, let's call it the healing art, or the counseling and listening and guidance, coaching, for which the session lies. There's so many variables depending on that the client's ability to receive, how committed they are. That there's all the variables in that I call pillar or of the triad, right? Of the practitioner, client, and technology relationship, that triad. That influences results, of course, no matter what model, product, or technology modality you have. In this case, let's say it's the Skio or the Indigo or the Eductor. It doesn't matter, because that serves a function, and we'll get to that later. So there's the clients coming in with their baggage of influence, their commitment, how well they receive and take in consciously and subconsciously the retrainment and the shift. And then you go to the practitioner. Every practitioner has a different style, a different body of information that they come from, an area of focus. And so you have so then you mix those two, right? And then you mix and then third, and probably the least influential in results, is the actual biofeedback system. As long as you're current on that software, it's working, it's effective, and it's communicating, the frequency generators is doing its work, the reactivity test is getting the accuracy. The features of those different models have just improved, similar to vehicles or computers, in the progression of electrical engineering and components. And as long as it serves the purpose, it's going to deliver. The most impactful variables, though, are the client and the practitioner, how well they know how to interpret the information. Too much credit, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, because I give unconditional credit for the technology. But the technology, no matter if you have the first version, the old Eclosion sitting on the desk, or the latest Eductor, if one doesn't know how to properly communicate and navigate and disclose the right information without causing alarm, guiding them through, knowing what milestones to hit and look for, having that rapport built, leaving that session with a improvement and a game plan, it doesn't matter what system you have. And so again, where does that lead? It leads to education and training. And that's something that even as a home user, you need to understand the technology and how it needs to be interpreted in a session, so that not only you get it, that's the first part, but then the next art is how to then share that value, right? Other than the effects of a session and someone leaving feeling great, how do you share it? How do you make that valuable stick and build on? And so with that said, it makes this whole process so dynamic and not linear. You're not, from within the session itself, we all know within the technology, it's a customized session, each session. Even if the same person came in an hour later, which is not recommended, you're going to get unique results. The person's unique. The practitioner's unique. The technology is the most probably standardized thing within that relationship. But the one variable that ties it all together is the body of information and understanding. And that's where I'm in a position that's a little bit tricky. I'm not supposed to train, and I can't. I'm not a practitioner. I help market and sell the technology and get it placed. But working with practitioners, they're hungry for protocol. They're hungry for different strategies on how to use it. And I commend you all for that. Keep searching for that. And there's some great resources out there, which I'll name here in a moment. And if you're not familiar with some of them, check them out and send me an email, and I'll be able to provide more information for sure. First is Immune, which is an international medical university. It's created a concept tied to Professor Nelson and Desi, yet it's an entity that is its own, that provides an international license, and it has a wonderful wealth of information. what's missing there, and I've spoken with Desi about this many times, is the organization and also that introduction of, let's call it the navigational button pushing elements, where you learn what's what in the program, how to do this, individual cases. It adds, though, the body of information around understanding natural medicine and how to interpret the body on all the levels, from the spiritual and the physical and the emotional, all these elements and the different schools of thought that the system's built on. It adds tremendous value, but I personally believe there's a missing link there with the protocol. Now, with that said, that's where I believe the Quantum Academies has a wonderful online curriculum for your education. They've got a beginners, intermediate, advanced coaching course, basic biofeedback course, and some other a la carte trainings that you can go check that out. You can also get great navigational training and support through the Institute of Stress Sciences. Engage Terrence work. She is an excellent teacher in not only understanding behind each step of the program, but also in navigational training. She does walk through the different components of the program and of the Class 32 and now the Eductor 64 software. And then there's also my father's training. And this is a training I feel is, it's the missing link. It's not the missing link. It's actually a missing component from the original intention of our technologies. When this system was created, the first test matrix items were those components. They were remedy, complex homeopathy. This is the Eternal remedies, so this isn't them. But my dad helped formulate these with Nadine and got these out. You can get these also through Known as Remedies, and Nadine Cutright has the Eternal formulas. But the doctor recommends, and the New Vistas line, all those complex homeopathies, the liquid trophics, the Allersode, Nosode products in the test matrix, those were some of the fundamental test matrix items that were originally intended to go along with this technology. Well, what happened? Why do so many practitioners they're not aware of this? Why are they, they've never heard it before. They think it's just something extra. And the reason is, this goes into the political game of not politics. Let's call it the life and transition of when Professor Nelson moved to Budapest. His ex-wife, Lorraine, kept on Metarol and New Vistas production of the remedies that were originally formulated by Professor Nelson. And these, at that time, was when my dad was studying, and he kept using them in his practice. And many practitioners do. You may already use them, but the disconnect happened at that time. And then with the large growth in the mid 2000s of the technology going to market, the connection was lost. So if you're not aware of those, do yourself and your clients and your family a favor and look into that training on how to interpret and find and select the best formulas that are directly connected to the source. I cannot advocate that enough. And it has nothing to do with it being my family business. It has to do with, this is part of the program. And, I really, really see that. And I just had a testimonial the other day that I requested them put in writing, but they purchased the course and a la carte with a Eductor trade-in. And they're like, why haven't I seen this before? They've been around since the QXCI days. They never got connected with it. And it's not only teaching them about how to select remedies, it's teaching about the philosophy of homeopathy, the connection to the biofeedback, and this unique form of biofeedback and where it all comes from. But it puts it in a tangible way. My dad redid the course too, So check that out. You can go to whitedovehealing.com or give them a call. That number's 303 828 4439. 303 828 4439. Other trainings are out there, and forgive me if I missed anybody but those are kind of the key elements. Faith Nelson, who has done work for the academies, has been a quantum master for many years. She's also doing one-on-one trainings and consultations now for practitioners to help. So if you need Faith's information, please let me know and I'll get you connected. And it leads to this last point, and then we're done talking about this. And that is, I feel and see that if you have a mentor or somebody in the field, a practitioner who got you started in this, or you search out for one of these mentors, it's this work is like the apprenticeship model is something I so wish was established, built into this from the beginning. Because what I find, and through my experience of helping hundreds of practitioners implement this with relationships with them, is that when they have that solid mentorship and relationship with the person to refer them, or they find that elsewhere, they grasp it quicker. They don't feel alone, and they have that checks and balances and that support in that process. So I encourage you to do that. And if you are in different areas of the country or the world, or listening to this, and you want me to help connect you with somebody locally who may be using it differently, or please let me know. That's the Dove. That's the White Dove and White Dove Global. And it's to be a messenger of information and connection. And so with that said, Leon, Liz, if you have any questions, let me know, and I would be happy to answer those. And I'm going to probably wrap this up quickly. What I want to do, though, is show you guys and have a little fun. I pulled out of my inventory some of the previous models of our technology, and I want to show them to you, because I don't know if everybody's seen the progression and what's different with the hardware. So here, give me one moment. It's really cool to see how these grow. So this is the older QX QMCI. If you notice, hopefully you can see that okay. What you have here is similar actual connection ports for the limb and head harness as the Skios. You have a more analog on and off switch. You have just basic 8-channel indicator lights here. And this system has the test tray, and it's a really well-built unit. The biggest progression of this to the Skio was this was also powered by batteries, so it's like the first version of the Skio, the serial to USB port, because you could power by battery, or it needed to be plugged in to the AC adapter into the wall to power. You also will notice it has the old printer parallel ports, or serial ports, parallel ports here, which needs a converter to be able to work it today. But you can still get this baby operating. It is outdated. Next, I'm going to bring these up here to show you guys. Perfect. The next one is, this isn't actually the next one. This was the EPFX Skio USB to USB. This had the similar indication lights, and I'll cross off this. I'll hide the serial number. But if you notice, it's got the USB to USB, larger test tray. And this model is the most popular model of our systems ever. There's more units out there that have the EPFX Skio, and they're well built, and you can actually purchase new ones even today. But the pre-owned market is really thriving too. And because this acts as this facilitates frequency generation and the reactivity test in the channels of different frequency through the programs. And again, this baby also has more channel outputs for the accessories. There was a model before this for about 8 months when this was first released in the early 2000s that was a serial to USB. So it actually was powered, had batteries, had to be, and some of you may have it or know someone who did. And that's a unit that's out there. There's not as many of them because soon after that, they transitioned to the USB to USB, which was a game changer because that then powered the unit from the computer. You didn't have that extra cable and the extra elements. Now, at that time, though, it is required that we all use a medical surge protector with these systems. And that is, that's just highly recommended in case there's a power surge, anything like that. It not only protects the person if there was to be a charge, but also not more importantly, but as importantly, the hardware as well. You don't want that you don't want that shorted out and blown up. So we went from the QXCI to the Skio, and next, then in 2009, I was honored and privileged to be part of the process of getting the Indigo to market. Is the Indigo biofeedback system, and this changed in terms of the casing. This actually created a new brand, right? And this is another topic of discussion, but the branding of these, it really just boggles me why the same family of device, the same, yes, they're different models, but the changing a name and a brand, that name is like starting over. It's really boggles my mind why it's changing every time there's a new release. But that's not my decision, and it's just my opinion. But the Indigo is a beautiful box. I love the colors, and it has a simple, different. It's a USB to USB, but it's got the more printer USB. It's a different. It's a printer cable. You can get them anywhere. Much more actually, and that's a really great change. The reason is those male to male USB cables that you need for the Skios, they're difficult to locate. You have to order them online. You can't go get them at Best Buy. No one carries them anymore because they're not made. And there will be a time when they may be not available because they're just not. There's not demand for them. There's not many technologies that have a male to male USB, but the printer. And what I mean by the printer cable is, if you notice, it has that shape that goes in too. So, not getting into the politics of everything behind this, because I'm just sharing with you the hardware differences. It's got a small little LED, that indicator. There was misinformation at time of launch that this was touch screen. Never was, never will be. Maybe not, maybe it will be, but that was not accurate information, and something that, I think should have never been said, but we're all doing what we're told in terms of what this components was going to be able to do. The connectors are different too. What you have is these, I don't know the name of them, the boys at Seriously Smart Technologies, Ron and Fernando and the team, as well as Biotrode, with Joni. Joni, she had a name. They know the name of these connectors, and they're nice. They're actually, it doesn't matter which one you connect either. That's why there's no labels for head harnesses. Head harness, wrist, or head, it doesn't matter, because the actual straps itself will indicate which one. So this was, I think, well made. I don't know why it was a steel metal. I like the kind of not the plastic, but this hard casing. It's, to me, more durable. This scratches a little bit easy. And hey, you want to buy an Indigo? Call me. I've got these. They're beautiful. Great deals too, and they're warranted, and they are supported with support. All right, so from the Indigo, there was the Eductor first version, and then also there was the Educator, which was it's a crossbred between the Skio and the Indigo. What I mean by that is, and I'll show you. So this is an Educator. Does it look familiar? Looks pretty much like an Indigo. Same design, has a LED, has the original serial little connector ports for the head harness and wrist. This one must be a first version that they got out, and I'll explain a little bit about why this system was created and why, and the role it played. There's some political background to it. But this system, again, this, though, like a Skio, has the male to male. So again, I don't know why that was done, but it was done. Hard to find. You can get them out there. You can go to Amazon and buy them. They're cheap. They're about $10 to $20, but they're just not very hard to find. This program, this hardware, runs the new software, but it's the Skio side. What I mean by that is the Eductor 64 software is the name of the latest software, right? Like the old Clasp 32. That software, though, and this is actually good, this is I love this, is that one software now is a focus of development, but there's two portals. What I mean by that is when you log on and you search for your system and device, you can select what unit you have. You do this when you change your COM ports or your parallel port. You adjust that accordingly, but you have to select what system you have in order for it to sync. And with that syncing, because there isn't this system, it uses the Skio software. So the branding on this is all over the place. It looks like an Indigo. It functions like a Skio, yet so it's in its place. I'm not going to go too much into the politics about it, but it was created when the manufacturer of that is Nature, Science, and You, and this is actually still available. It's a great technology. It's pretty much like a new Skio. It's durable, and this baby was developed to keep the Indigo going and alive in the transition period when Quantum Alliance really fragmented and broke apart. That's another call. Unless you have questions, I'm here to answer, but I'm not going to go down that trail unless asked. Not that I did ignore it. It's just, it is what it is. And I'm there to answer, though. Nothing to hide, but I don't want to go down that bunny trail. So the last system is the Eductor. And the Eductor is the latest model. There was a model actually released before this, the first generation, and then they came out with this, similar to the Skio launch. There was the serial to USB connection, then it transitioned to the USB to USB. Well, this had its own first version. They made corrections, made the LCD screen larger, and this is just an indication screen. There's no touch screen capabilities. It's just a There's beautiful graphics that come up indicating when the training's finished, when you're calibrating, things of that nature. This has the ports for the head harness, wrist, and ankle, as well as this is unique because what this has too is the test plate is separate. It's a beautiful copper test plate that lies. You don't have to have it connected, but when you do, you can operate it like the other test plates. And what's unique about this is it has a second and third waveform generator. The second waveform generator is one that actually Fernando, Ron, and I tested up at their place an hour and a half north of me, and pretty cool seeing the distinct second waveform generator. There's a third virtual waveform generator, and I'll let Desi explain that in more detail. He does that on some of his previous calls, and I'll get him on to do that. Other than that, it has a USB 3 cable port, and it's powered, but it's really durable. What I like about this is even the angle of it, you can slip it into your bag with the casing, and it's solid. It's not so boxy as these other units. So with that said, you guys, those are the different systems, and I hope that was informative. With that said, I'm going to end the live broadcast. For anybody who wants to contact me directly, please email me at info@whitedoveglobal.com, and I'd be really more than happy to help consult regarding training, regarding purchase, regarding selling your unit. Please give me a shout. That's what I do. And I want to also end the call with an announcement that we are going to be launching a new product that I'm really excited about. This is based on geodynamic pulse frequencies. It's an actual therapeutic appliance or instrument that sits in your office, in your home, or in your wellness clinic, and it actually produces a torus of frequency. And it actually, with the studies that we've been doing with tests, the preliminary studies on food and on water and on the beehives, it's remarkable what this system is doing for our personal environmental health. And so that's called the Chrysalis E. This is the first time I've launched and mentioned it, and keep your eyes out for it. And you'll be able to learn more about it soon, very soon here coming up in May. So everybody have a wonderful weekend and Friday. Thank you for joining me on the focus call, and I'll talk to you next week. And again, I know we're going to get, don't worry. This is all just building and momentum. We're going to have some amazing teaching, interviews, and then of course the replays are going to be posted. You get these replays automatically sent to you, but the replays will also be posted on the site White Dove Healing or whitedoveglobal.com for your viewing very shortly. What I'm doing is just gathering this massive archive library and filtering it. And if any of you are interested in helping me filter and edit and have access to these, let me know. I'd be more than willing to work something out that is a win-win situation, whether that's a hourly rate or whether that is a trade of some kind in terms of the technologies I had. Let me know, because I could use some help with that. It's just time, and time is of the essence and very valuable for me right now. So with that said, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. And for those of you who join us, check out Luis's Awakening Abundance next Saturday, May 2nd. It's a free webinar. It's really cool. She's doing great things down there at the Albuquerque Natural Health Center, and check her out. You can go to ABQ Natural Health center.com and learn more about her, what she's doing there. And stay tuned. We're going to get some great speakers lined up in the future. Have a great Friday. Bye-bye.